With great intellect comes great responsibility. Or at least it should. Hey guys, Noah from WatchMojo here, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Rick inventions from Rick and Morty.
Let's say you have to hit 5 3-pointers in 5 minutes, or I don't know. The whole planet will get blown up with a neutrino bomb.
For this list, we'll be taking a look at the most dangerous, irresponsible, and downright deadly things the eccentric mind of Rick Sanchez has ever cooked up.
If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below.
Number 10, combat suit. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but the context is well worth exploring because in this episode, things get real messy real fast. When Rick and his grandson Morty find themselves in need of washer fluid, they visit a planet where the inhabitants seemingly lead a peaceful, old-timey existence. Except the one night a year when they purge.
Man, I think my eyes were bigger than my stomach on this one, Morty. Ugh, my appetite for purge spectating got filled pretty quick.
Morty's horrified by the concept, but when a few bad decisions force him to participate, well, we see just how efficiently lethal Rick's combat suit can really be. Morty snaps and proceeds to massacre the townspeople with ease thanks to the suit's firepower. Now we know why Tony Stark was so insistent about not letting his Iron Man tech fall into the wrong hands.
I ain't taking no shit! Okay, sorry about that.
Number 9, Operation Phoenix. Sometimes it feels like Rick Sanchez has never watched a sci-fi movie. Then again, even if he'd seen all the sci-fi movies produced in each and every reality, we doubt that he'd do anything but scoff at those with a cautionary element to them. Human cloning rarely goes as planned, but that doesn't stop Rick from creating Operation Phoenix, a mysterious experiment involving various clones of himself.
Is anybody listening? Can anyone understand? Stop looking at me like that and actually help me. Help me! Help me! I'm gonna die! Tiny Rick!
When he transfers his consciousness into a much younger body, dubbed Tiny Rick, he learns firsthand the unexpected complications of cloning when the clone's brain begins to take over, nearly causing the change to become permanent. Thankfully, Rick seems to learn his lesson.
I'm not young, I'm old. I'm gonna die. My body isn't real. Morty, Summer, it's me. It's Rick, regular Rick.
Number 8, Memory Eraser. Morty's been on many memorable misadventures with his grandfather. Some have been truly horrific and traumatizing, but as it turns out, those that he remembers are just a fraction of what he and Rick have actually been through together.
You want me to erase it?
What? You can do that?
Rick has an entire room full of memories that Morty has asked him to wipe. The thing is, Rick has also removed memories without Morty's consent, and that's seriously messed up.
Well?
You seem to be in charge of what I get to remember.
Why?
Good question.
It doesn't take a particularly creative mind to think of how dangerous this technology is, or the many, many ways in which it could be abused. As it turns out, this entire situation has blown up multiple times over, but because of the technology, they've never learned from it.
All those memories just erased, sitting in this room collecting dust. What's the point of going on if most of everything that happens just ends up sitting in here?
Number 7, Doolittle Machine. Rick and Morty might not learn much from their experience in Morty's Mind Blowers, but we viewers certainly did. Specifically, we find out from one of Morty's wiped memories that Rick invented a machine to give a person the ability to speak to animals, just like the fictional character Dr. Doolittle.
The Queen needs food. The babies need food. The Queen makes babies.
Unfortunately, as Morty soon discovers after donning the translator, communicating with animals isn't all wacky hijinks and cute cuddly moments.
We need a quorum to pick a new pope in case the Exxon Monsanto thing falls through in Africa.
Why not use chemtrails? Put a canopy on Uganda. They're set to agitate any What?
That kid is watching us.
Instead, Morty uncovers a squirrel conspiracy. These omnipresent little rodents are in fact a covert global government. The squirrels are pulling the strings, and they don't take kindly to Morty listening in.
Tell Daphne to run a 199 on a possible Doolittle.
An animal translator might sound innocent enough, but in Morty's case, it forces him to relocate to another reality yet again.
We have to pack up and move to a new reality, Morty. You know, I said we can only do that a couple of times.
Number 6, Space Cruiser AI. Like cloning, artificial intelligence is an invention that works of science fiction have already warned us about at length.
Wait! You can't leave me here!
You'll be fine. Ship! Keep Summer safe!
Keep Summer safe.
In the Season 2 episode, The Ricks Must Be Crazy, Rick charges his spaceship with keeping Summer safe. It takes this task to heart, but like Skynet, it goes a little overboard with how it interprets and executes the instruction that it's given, responding with extreme lethal force when even the most minor threat approaches. When Summer tries to rein it in, it gets sadistically creative in its methods.
Daddy, leave the car alone.
What?
Leave the car alone.
Hunter? Go!
Oh my god.
We're just glad that Rick has never given the ship's AI a loftier instruction like protect humanity.
My function is to keep Summer safe, not keep Summer being, totally stoked about, the general vibe and stuff.
Then again, Rick's microverse battery shows that he's not opposed to toying with fates of entire civilizations.
Did you create my universe? Is my universe a miniverse?
Microverse!
Teenyverse.
Number 5, Cognition Amplifier. Much of this episode occurs in various dreams, and for this we should be thankful, especially Snuffles' dream of world domination for canines.
Go to the bathroom.
No way.
Yeah, you're at the top of your game now, Jerry.
Like with the animal translator from Morty's Mind Blowers, the Cognition Amplifier seems like a good idea. After all, who hasn't wished they could better communicate with their animals, or that their pet wasn't just a bit smarter? But considering how we treat animals, it's perhaps not so far-fetched to believe that, with increased cognitive ability, they would turn on us and choose to subjugate humankind.
Snuffles was my slave name. You shall now call me Snowball, because my fur is pretty and white.
It's only Snuffles' ability to see the big picture that saves Earth from such a fate. He chooses to leave this reality rather than enslave it.
Do you think they would have done this for us?
We are not them.
But this particular invention could have had far bleaker results. Number 4, the Time Stopper. In most works of fiction where time travel exists, it's regarded as extremely dangerous and heavily regulated. It's easy to understand why. People messing with time, even in the most seemingly innocuous ways, can have catastrophic results.
All right, that should do it.
Whoa, what did you do?
See for yourself.
This particular invention of Rick's doesn't enable the user to travel through time, but rather freeze it, allowing the parties involved to go about their business while the rest of the world is immobilized. Even with this limited application, however, one could commit all manner of crime, from theft to destruction to any number of fundamentally evil deeds. And with all the time in the world to get away and conceal the evidence, there'd be no stopping those who would misuse this invention.
Oh boy, what a waste of time. Get it? You know, 'cause it's frozen?
Number 3, Neutrino Bomb. The very first episode of the series makes a few things clear right off the bat. First, Rick has a serious drinking problem. Second, he's a wildly irresponsible grandfather. Third, he's brilliant. Fourth, he's a danger to himself and all of humanity. Rick alleges that his pitch to give Earth a fresh start was just an attempt to test Morty, but the fact remains that Rick can wipe out all of humanity in the blink of an eye if he so chooses.
You know what, Morty, you're right. Let's forget the girl altogether. She's probably nothing but trouble anyways.
Arming neutrino bomb.
As we later learned in The Vindicators 3, The Return of World Ender, Rick has a thing for building neutrino bombs, and while they only have a 60% functionality rate, it's fallen to Morty to disarm them on multiple occasions.
There's a 40% chance it's a dud, but you should still stay back.
Morty, how many of these?
Too many, Rick! Too many!
Number 2, the Love Potion and Cure. You know what's even scarier than Rick being able to single-handedly craft a bomb powerful enough to wipe humanity off the face of the Earth? The fact that he's arrogant enough to carelessly expose the world to concoctions that he comes up with on the fly.
Whoever you smear this stuff on will fall in love with you. And only you, forever. Are you happy now, Morty?
When Morty selfishly asks Rick for a love potion, Rick quickly whips one up, not bothering to stop Morty when he realizes that, under certain conditions, it could go wrong.
Go nuts, Morty. It's foolproof. Unless she has the flu.
Worse yet, he learns nothing from the experience and proceeds to produce a cure with the same reckless abandon. It proves to be even more destructive. Both the love potion and the failed cure are essentially hyper-effective biological weapons of mass destruction, and together they doom the planet.
You got a whole planet of Cronenbergs walking around down there, Morty. At least they're not in love with you anymore, though. It's a huge step in the right direction.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, the portal gun and portal technology. Compared to some of the other entries on our list, the portal gun actually seems like one of Rick's safer inventions. After all, it rarely malfunctions and doesn't have any explicitly violent or world-ending applications.
Scan his portal gun! Oh, come on.
The reason it earns the top spot on our list, however, is that this technology is what allows Rick and Morty to go on all of their adventures.
You ready for our adventure to the lost city of Atlantis?
Ready as I'll ever be, Rick!
As such, it's a gateway to all the chaos, carnage, and interdimensional damage that Rick causes on his often selfish trips.
What are your demands? I want a portal gun. Unregistered, untraceable, with enough fluid to take me off this goddamn prison!
It's Rick's most impressive invention, sure, but it's also brought pain and misery to countless realities. Perhaps worst of all, it's resulted in Rick's and Morty's from various dimensions interacting, which is arguably to the detriment of all life in all realities.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.